Entertainment Soldier here, and I'm back to talk about Star Trek Day. And is it worth watching? No. I only just heard about this a couple of hours ago when I came back from work over my night shift, and I did not know what Star Trek Day was all about. I didn't know what they were doing it. So the reason they're doing a Star Trek Day is to celebrate the first airing date of the original series, which was the 8th of September 1966. So they're doing this in celebration of that day. But in actual fact, this is why they're actually doing it, because they're not doing it for any other reason than this. This is supposed to be Kurtzman telling the heads of CBS and Netflix that Star Trek is in a good position because they're copying DC's fandom. And it was a massive backfire, in my opinion. I just could not get through most of these panels. The fucking SJW politics was clear to see. The only panel that I was actually looking forward to, which was Deep Space Nine, they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They brought up a particular episode, and that episode was Far Beyond the Stars. And if you don't know what Far Beyond the Stars episode is about, well, it's about Captain Cisco going into a coma and then waking up in the 1960s as a sci-fi writer and having to deal with the world of the racism and the sexism of that time. Now, if you go back and watch the episode, it's a very good episode that tells you a lot about the 60s and how hard it was for a black person to get through in life. And they just fucking went crazy on it. They said it was the best episode of Star Trek. I mean, best episode of fucking Deep Space Nine they ever did. And I couldn't believe it, man. I mean, what the fuck? It was a great episode, no doubt about that. But to say it's the best episode ever done, and we all know why they're doing this, because of the riots that are going on right now, because of the political crap that's going on right now. And Star Trek has never been about that. Yes, it's brought these conversations to us, but it used to entertain us at the same time. That's why Far Beyond the Stars is actually entertaining. Because it's about a writer who just wants to write something different. Who wants to make a platform for himself. You know, to say about a black captain of a space station. And having his boss say he can't do that because it has to be a white guy. And the episode was fantastic. And just to have you use that episode as some sort of fucking virtue signaling bullshit pissed me right off. And the fact Avery Brooks wasn't even fucking there. He wasn't there. It was just Dr. Bashir, Kira, Quark. I'm just going through the actors. I don't know the names. I'm just going through the characters that they were. Jake Sisko and the guy who ripped Deep Space Nine. And I tried to get through as much as I could, because again, I do love Deep Space Nine. I think it's the best series in Star Trek. And the best scene in all of Star Trek has to be the scene between Picard and Sisko. That scene where you see the hate in Cisco, the fact he's having to talk to this man who is the main reason his wife died. To have that scene where you see Picard having to face a man he's hurt, and it wasn't his fault, it was the Borg's fault, but that scene is bloody amazing. The passion in both actors, to show that's what Star Trek's about. You know what old Star Trek used to be? One fucking scene where you just saw that Cisco has to deal with this man he blames for his wife's death, and Picard having to face up to that and try and talk to him about his mission, but in the back of his head he's like, he knows Cisco hates him. That's just such a great scene, and something we're never going to see again in Star Trek if they don't get rid of Kurtzman. I was absolutely pissed off about the fact they brought up Far Beyond the Stars and trying to use it for that bullshit, and it really pisses me off because Cisco is not a great captain because he's black. He is a great captain because he is strong. He is passionate. It was a great series, and I think Captain Cisco is the best captain in all of Star Trek. Why people just say it's only Picard and Kirk is beyond me. I think Cisco is a 10 times better captain than either Kirk or Picard. And I know some people are going to get pissed at me for saying that, but that's what I believe. And I don't think he's that because he's black. I watch Deep Space Nine and I love it. And I'm just annoyed about that panel. I did watch the panel up to the to when the actors talked about the two missing actors, which was the actor who played Oto and who played and the actor who played Nog. It was sad that they both passed away, and again, I will give the panel credit for, you know, doing a very good tribute to them too. And that's the only thing I'm going to say that's good about that panel. Other than that, it was shit. So, let's go on to the next panel I watched, which was Voyager. And again, it went the same way, because when I watched fucking Deep Space Nine, what else was I going to expect from Voyager? The first female captain. They couldn't say that shit enough. Ugh. I'm just going to say this again. Captain Janeway was not a great captain because she was a woman. The fact she was a woman barely came up. It only came up a couple of times in the first season when they were going up against that sexist race. I've forgotten what the fuck they're called. But, yeah. And Voyager was a great series. And, again, they're just using the fact that Janeway was a woman to say that's why it was good. It was not good for that. It was good because it told us the story of a crew stuck thousands of light years away from home, and the fact a captain who just wants to get a crew home and will do anything to achieve that. The fact she was a woman just barely came up, and again, this was just what this whole thing was about. It was just about getting the SJWs to shout loud about how much of an achievement these idiots have made. And I could barely get through this panel again because nothing was really talked about other than the SJW politics of Star Trek. And it's never been the main thing about Star Trek. It was always about entertaining us and thrilling us and showing us a better world that could be achieved in the future. I'm just disappointed. And I didn't watch the Enterprise panel, but I did watch it for 5 seconds, and they had the actor who played Captain Archer was there. So you're going to bring the actor back to talk about Enterprise, but you don't put Archer on the fucking poster. And I haven't even talked about the fucking poster yet, but that was fucking bullshit. Who was that poster made for? Because all it had was fucking Michael Burnham on it and fucking Discovery. Why is Discovery on there? If you're going to put any ship on a fucking poster about Star Trek Day, it should have been the Enterprise. Kirk's Enterprise. And that poster was bullshit. To have Kirk that small on the poster is bullshit. And again, I didn't really watch the Enterprise panel because I was just getting bored, and I just knew where we're going to go with most of these fucking panels. So I gave up on the panels. I did try to get through Discovery, but seeing Kurtzman, seeing Michael Burnham, just seeing the cringe, I couldn't do it. So I gave up with those panels. But there was one panel that I had to watch. And the panel was Lower Decks. Now I had to watch Lower Decks because I'm doing a review on the fucking series, and I felt I should watch the panel to see, is it going to get any better, and are the actors actually Star Trek fans? And I can say right now, no, the actors are not Star Trek fans. They've barely watched any Star Trek episodes. There's literally a fucking part of the fucking panel where the actor who plays Boynham literally says he's only watched a few episodes, and that's only because he was told to watch those episodes by the producer. I'm going to say this though, the one who plays the Green Girl, fucking cute actress, motherfucking hell. I know, sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm a man. I saw a fucking gorgeous looking woman and I fucking felt, wow. But she's pretty hot though. I'm gonna, at least she was hot, and that's what kind of kept me watching. But yeah, the panel was boring. They were trying to say that Mariner was inclusive and the show was hitting all the right notes and the fans really loved it. And the show was getting great ratings. And I can tell you right now, that's bullshit. The voice actor who plays the robot guy, he says his favourite, well, they brought up favourite scenes. He says his favourite scene was that fucking stupid fucking episode with, well, the favourite scene was that stupid scene from when he like has to go to all the other jobs, like security and all that shit. And I just kind of got pissed off because I remember that scene. I kind of thought that was the dumbest scene ever. Just watched my review to find out what I thought of that episode. Michael, and the one who's playing Mariner's favourite scene was the scene where the captain smiles at Boimler for helping her take back the ship. And that episode also, I mean, to have her say that she likes that scene because Boimler finally got a win was bullshit, because he didn't get a win. He did not get a win there. He actually ends up going back to her ready room and she gives him a plaque, and it's called the Boimler rule, which is the fact that everyone on the ship can be a lazy cunt because it's now in the rules. That wasn't a win for Boimler. That was a massive slap in the face to his character. And by the way, you even see the actors doing the same stupid joke with the voice actor of Boimler, when they ignore him and don't say happy Star Trek Day to him. Again, the actor seems to be taking the piss out of, even when he's not even in the show. They did also talk about the fact that probably is going to be a new series of Lower Decks. I fucking doubt it. The producer also said his favourite scene was the music entry credit scene, which kind of pissed me off because it was literally just a fucking massive scene of just the shit bashing into stuff and fucking up all the time. But what do I expect from Lower Decks, the guy who created Lower Decks? They also mentioned that the artist work was fantastic, and to me that's just utter bullshit. And that was the end of the panel. It was more to talk about the fact that the actors were actual fans of the show beforehand, which they proved they weren't, and that they're hoping for a new series of Lower Decks. I don't know who the hell was managing the woman who was asking all the questions. I have no idea what she was called. I do know the guy who played Wesley was the one on the other panels. And if I'm going to give my thoughts for the overall experience of this crap, it was just a waste of time. It really was. I don't think this was a good idea for Kurtzman. I don't think it was a good idea for CBS to do any of this stuff. It was just a waste of time. There was not that much to enjoy about it. The virtue signaling was way too much, and yeah, I just think you've just done a massive discredit to to Gene Roddenberry. I mean, there's also a reason I hate fucking Voyager now, and that's because of what that fucking bitch actress who plays fucking Captain Janeway said about said about Gene Roddenberry, was the fact that he forced the actresses to wear the short dresses. Now, if the bitch would understand that that was not Gene Roddenberry's idea, that was the actresses' idea, because it was the 60s, and women were forced to wear dresses that covered up so much, and women wanted to be free of that. This was in the movement when women want to be free of the kitchen, and they wanted freedom to do what they want, and that's what also the clothes was about. So to have her say that crap, to say that Gene Roddenberry's just being a sexist male, pisses me off as well. She didn't say it in this panel, she said it somewhere else. But yeah, that's also another reason I don't fucking like that character anymore. Because of what that bitch said. She has no understanding of what that was all actually about. If you actually learn the history of Star Trek, you'd learn a thing or two, yeah. But yeah, my final thoughts on this is it was just a waste of time. Fucking Kurtzman was trying to prove that people still like Star Trek. No, they don't. Look at the views. Barely anybody watches any of this crap. And if you look on Twitter, barely anybody's talking about it. It was a waste of time. It was a stupid idea. And I'm very happy that this is a massive fuck up for Star Trek. Because Kurtzman needs to go. I did also watch the trailer for the new series of Discovery. It's not making me look forward to fucking Discovery. It's really not. I don't know if I'm going to do a video on Discovery, but well, on the trailer for Discovery. But yeah, seeing that trailer kind of just tells me, yeah, they've given up with Star Trek. I mean, it's just terrible. They're just trying to make Star Trek into Orville. There was jokes in the trailer. Yeah, it's never going to happen, Kurtzman. Discovery is never going to be as good as Orville. I hope Orville comes out soon, hopefully. But who knows? And I'm sorry, I'm just depressed. Where Star Trek is now is just a joke. It used to be something great, something amazing, and it just pissed me off all the way through. I know there were other panels. I know fucking Patrick Stewart was on a panel. I couldn't do it. I was just too pissed off. I think this whole thing was a waste of time, and I was just getting too angry. Star Trek used to show hope for the future of humanity, and these cunts have just destroyed it. And to have some of these actors come back and shit on Gene Roddenberry, the shit on Star Trek before Kurtzman, it sickens me. It really does. And I just can't stand any of this crap anymore. But that's my review on Star Trek Day. If you like this video, give it a like. If you don't like this video, give it a dislike. And tell me below if you enjoyed this and what your thoughts were on Star Trek Day. Also, do think about subscribing if you want to subscribe. And that's it. Hail the fandom menace. Long live CG. And fuck you, SJWs. Bye.